This week, we have my Colorado Buffaloes against the Iowa State Cyclones, I think is their name. And contrary to what people might think, Iowa State is a very well-coached football team. And I know people will look at last week and see how they play against Cincinnati and assume that they are not a good football team, but they are a very good football team. That was their first loss of the season. Not only are they a very good football team, they are a well-coached football team, and they know how to bounce back. And so this week, I'm a little bit nervous for my Colorado Buffaloes because I don't know what they're going to do, but I fully expect this Iowa State team to come back with some fire because they're not going to like or appreciate what happened to them last week against Cincinnati. And so I'm gearing up for a really good football game. I'm excited for this game. The other thing that might be flying under the radar because so much has gone wrong for Colorado is this strength and conditioning program, coach, whatever they have going on is not working. It has been a fail. The injury report is as long as a CVS receipt, and I'm not even joking with you. It is actually embarrassing how many people are actually out for this Colorado team, how many people are injured for this Colorado team, how many games this Colorado team cannot finish. And I need to call out the strength and conditioning program to the carpet because they are also responsible for what is happening with this football team. So not only is the strength and conditioning program not great, they didn't teach them how to finish anything, so that's a problem. We have a coaching staff that is kind of in shambles in my opinion. We have talent that I don't really know what's going on. Doesn't look like anybody's being developed. Therefore, this Colorado Buffaloes team is in trouble. No matter what you say, they are doing well this year. They are still losing football games, and that is a problem. And so I need this week for the Colorado Buffaloes to figure it out. I don't know how they're going to figure it out. I don't know if they can figure it out, but I need them to figure it out, and I'm going to expect them to figure it out. Having said that, let me get into some things I know about this Iowa State team that might be interesting to you. Who knows? We'll see. The one thing about Iowa State that I think is going to be interesting this week is last week they gave up 260 rushing yards against Cincinnati. And yes, that pops out on the screen to me because that's something that they don't do often, but it's interesting because I'm not sure if that is something that Colorado can exploit, but that's actually not normal for this Iowa State defense. So I'm calling it out here because maybe we're seeing a trend. I don't really know, but it did happen last week, so I'm calling that out. The other thing is too, is this quarterback is going to play a lot like the TCU quarterback played. And I think that that is good for Colorado. I think when you have a quarterback that is not as mobile, Colorado usually does well defending them. My only concern is every time we play a quarterback that I say can't really scramble or doesn't scramble that much, they find a way to still get like 25, 30 yards. And those 25, 35 yards happen on third down and it's at the worst times. However, this quarterback should not be able to scramble as freely as some of the other scrambling quarterbacks. So that is something that I'm going to be paying attention to for this Iowa State team. The other thing about Iowa State is they're down two of their best corners. They're out for the year, I believe. And so because of that, Colorado has an advantage here if they can actually get the ball to the receivers. So that means the offensive line has to protect. That means the quarterback has to actually throw the ball down the field and they have to be accurate passes. And that is something that this Colorado Buffaloes team can exploit. And I think that that is amazing because at this point, we need opportunities where we are better than the other team. And right now, these Colorado receivers are better than this Iowa State secondary. So I expect them to do what needs to be done there. As I mentioned at the top of this, historically, Iowa State is a very good, disciplined, fundamentally sound football team. They just don't do a lot of things that cost them games. I hope that that is not true when they play Colorado, but historically this team is just a very consistent and solid football team. The other thing I will say that worries me about this Iowa State football team is they do use their tight ends. To me, Colorado does a terrible job defending teams that use their tight ends. Usually, tight ends go crazy against this Colorado defense. And maybe that's because of the linebackers. Maybe that's just because we don't know how to defend tight ends. But Iowa State has tight ends that they use, especially in the red zone. And so that is something I'm going to be paying attention to when I'm watching this football game is how is Iowa State using their tight ends and how is Colorado defending their tight ends? Because the one thing that is usually true about Iowa State is when they find something that is working, they're going to exploit that. So that is something that I'm going to be paying attention to when I'm thinking about this Iowa State team because it is something that I have seen them do consistently. The keys to the game are pretty simple. I mean, at this point, I'm just going to hope and pray because that is the only thing I can do at this point. But some of the keys to this game is going to be, can we please, for the love of all things holy, not turn the ball over? At the very least, can we win the turnover battle? It is so frustrating to watch this team already be unstable, to already not be very good. And then you turn the ball over? Like, who are we to think that we could turn the ball over? And so I need this Colorado football team to not turn the ball over. If they do turn the ball over, at least win the turnover battle. That is something I'm going to be paying attention to. The other thing that is going to be super important for this Colorado Buffaloes team is winning the time of possession, i.e. running the football, i.e. keeping that Iowa State offense off the field. Because once that Iowa State offense rolls out on the field, we might have a problem. Because the one thing about Iowa State is they can score points fast, and they're used to scoring points. And so that is something that is very concerning to me when I'm thinking about this Iowa State team, because I have seen them put up a lot of points in games, and I have seen them almost come back and win the Cincinnati game had they not had a few dumb things happen to them. And so Iowa State is going to put points on the board. So because of that, we have to try to limit their ability to do that. Win the time of possession game. We have to run the football consistently. Our freaking quarterback cannot turn the football over. The other thing is we also have to be able to stop the run. We have to be able to stop the run. We cannot afford this Iowa State offense to come out on the field and stay out on the field for a long time and score points. We just can't have that. And so I am going to be hoping that Colorado can stop the run. They did a better job at that against TCU. But the reality is TCU doesn't really run the football like that. That is not what their offense is predicated on. Iowa State is going to run the football, and they're going to do everything they can to win this football game. And I need Colorado to have answers for them. I need the Colorado defense that showed up against TCU to show up against Iowa State and to be a little bit better. If they are a little bit better, I think that that's good. And you know what? Let me just give them the 350-yard challenge again. If they can keep this Iowa State offense under 350 yards, I think they win this football game. It is a tall ask. It's going to be a hard challenge. I don't really care about hard challenges. I need them to figure out a way to keep Iowa State's offense off of this football field. That is going to be a key to this football game. The X factor here is going to be, can Colorado run the football? If Colorado can run the football, that is going to help them manage that clock, and that is going to help them with this football game. And if you can run the football, it opens up the pass. Like, that is just football 101. And so if Colorado is able to do what they need to do and stay consistent, and Iowa State hasn't fixed that rush defense, I'm hoping Colorado can do some things here. I am not going to get sucked in to thinking that Colorado is going to do exactly what Cincinnati did, because I think the Cincinnati quarterback is better than the Colorado quarterback, so I can't really compare the two. But we saw that Iowa State can be vulnerable in run defense, and so I need us to exploit that if that is possible. So I think it's going to be serious. I think it might be serious. I think it's going to be interesting to see is, can Colorado stop the run, and can Colorado get their run game going? I think both of those things are going to be super important and could potentially decide the outcome of this football game. Listen, this Colorado football team is a mess right now. It just is what it is. I can't think of the last time we won a football game. That's a problem. But honestly, at this point, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I need them to step up and find a way to win this football game. I need them to just win this game. I need the third game to be a charm. I need them to figure out a way to beat Iowa State. I don't know how. I don't know what can happen. I think on paper, Iowa State might be better at us in all the positions that kind of matter, but I need this defensive line of Colorado to be disruptive. I need them to figure out how to stop the run. I need our corners to kind of figure out what they have going on. I need everybody to figure out what they have going on. I need everybody to be a little bit better than they have been this season. I need to see them getting better. I need to see them finishing games. I don't want them to go up 14-0 at this point. I would rather it be like a 7-0, or maybe I want Iowa State to go up 14-0 this time, just to kind of trick it to see if that's what we need to do some different things. But I don't know what is going to happen in this game. All I know is I need for Colorado to figure out a way to win this game, and I need for Iowa State to figure out a way to play as bad as they did against maybe Cincinnati, and maybe that will give us a chance to win this football game. I don't really know what to say at this point. I just need Colorado to figure out a way. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. At this point, hey, it is what it is. There's nothing more for me to do but to hope and pray that they figure it out. I don't know if they will, but I will be cheering for them, and I will be acting like they can figure it out, because unfortunately this week I have to watch Colorado on one screen and Texas on another screen. So just keep me in your thoughts and prayers as this week goes on. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video.